Hi guys. So I wanted to talk about mental health because I feel like, this is an instrumental part of, you know, being successful in business and you need and not really necessary for business because we have this going on every day now for people, and trying to deal with and manage your mental health and staying fit mentally to be successful is obviously, what you want to be doing. So generally what I like to do is I like to I've been studying Korean. So I've been studying Korean now. It's been about 2 years. And then I write ebooks, I write plays, books, short stories. And honestly, I've been doing that ever since I was a child. My dad liked to do that, so of course, I like to do that as well. Excuse me. And I ended up putting a play on in my town, in one of the theaters here, and it was supposed to be about stress relief, but and let me tell you, this is one thing. So I got a chance to meet this artist. Her name was, Allison Williams, and she was like my favorite artist at the time. She, and still, she's a legend. And I feel like, I got to meet her. She read my play. She understood my play. Now that's the key. Because I felt like, okay, we're bonded here. Because she actually read the full play. She actually understood the play, not understood the play, but got the play, understood what I wanted to articulate in the words. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. And so I'm a stylist, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing this. I'm promoting my business. We're not in LA. We're not in New York. We're not in Atlanta. I'm in Delaware. That's where I am. And we're promoting, and I'm thinking, okay, this is my time. I have 300 people in front of me. This is it. All I have to do is show my skills. What can I do? And she goes, well, you ain't gonna have time to do that. You're. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what am I doing? Because I'm not in the play. I'm thinking like, what is going on here? She got me, but she don't get me. So I'm like, and my husband was there at the time, and he's like, I'm like, what? What? He like, don't you know you crazy. She says something to me. I have to respond. No, you calm down. I said, I'm just gonna say, I'm like, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? He said, I'm gonna take care. Well, go on, take care of it. Go. So I'm waiting. Needless to say, I did do my styles, and let me tell you, it was the most difficult thing I ever had to do in my life. Because people are coming up to me saying, oh, I couldn't get my pants on. And I'm thinking, what you doing right now? What you doing? She sent you over here, didn't she? She trying to distract me. She trying to make me be busy. Now, you better get out my face. Go get out my face. So, needless to say, I got bombarded with a lot of questions from people about things that didn't matter at the time. And needless to say, I was still triumphant. I did my thing. I got my thing done. And thanks to him, it worked out. His calm to my fire. It was not stress relief. It was a lot of stuff going on at the time when I was doing this play. But the distraction was necessary, was needed, because and sometimes that's how it is, and when you expose yourself to outside, it becomes it it becomes helpful. And so it was a distraction. And I will say, even at the time, I was going through a difficult situation. My father, he was dying. And it was like one of those, one of those slow deaths too, where you over, time over a period of time. He had been in a hospital for a long time, and so of course I'm there saying, no, I don't care if he's 105. I do something, do anything, I don't care, save him. And it was a necessary distraction to help me continue to move forward. And so it comes in all forms, and it was exciting, it was motivating, and I got to meet people, and that's what it was about. I wanted to meet people, I wanted to make friends, and I wanted to do all of that. And and I did. I met people that were instrumental, and sometimes that's how it is. You meet people in your life and they come through and they do things without issuing out that invoice and saying, I'm helping you through this situation, so I want a return on that. And there are people like that. Matter of fact, this is a true story. And that other story was true as well. But this is more so goes into people coming in and doing something they just don't need to do, and they become instrumental in your forward movement. Because when I was doing my play, at the time, at the same time that another man was doing this play. His name was Priest Tyre. I hope I say his name right. Please let me say his name right. But he came by and he was doing a play at the same time as me. He came into my salon and he was like, hey, I'm doing my play. He handed me my flyer, and I was like, oh, I'm doing my play. And I handed my flyer. And you know what? This man, we were in competition. We're in competition with each other. And still, this man came by and said, hey, how's your play going? How's everything going? And I'm certain that he was going through things, because I know. And he certainly doesn't need my promotion because he's successful in his own right. It's not about, the promoting. It's about the idea that someone can come by when they're competitive. He wants to relate and say, hey, this happened to me, and, this is what I did, and hopefully you can use that to be successful. That's genuine. And we need to do that as business owners, is to understand that we don't need to be grubby for every client, because at the end of the day, it's like, realistically, how many people can you actually do? We're always so worried about what's in somebody else's corner that we just don't stop and uplift the other person, because we're always in that competition mode. And I would say that his unsolicited, much needed efforts and just being a genuine person was very uplifting for me at the time. And that's how it becomes a return for you. When you're doing things. And again, I started off with something that I was just doing like as a hobby, not really theatrical, not really going towards becoming like this major production. And it ended up becoming that as I worked over the 2-year process. And it became stressful and liberating and, sort of fun in a way. But I got to meet great people that, again, regardless if they even wanted to, they were able to lift me up and push me forward. And he was one of those people, and I never got to tell him thank you. But, if he's watching, if he does take the time out, thank you, because you really helped by just being a genuine person. And if we can do that for each other, and I always say that I've never tried to be that type of person, in my salon, because I know, salon, it's like your nucleus of clients that come in that are going to uplift you. Now you're going to have your core center. Those are your core people. Those are the people that understand you. Those are the people that, you converse with, back and forth. And they're the people that are just going to be there regardless if they go someplace else one time, because you were on vacation. They're your center, they're your nucleus. And then of course you're going to have the people that they don't care. They go here, they go there, they go anywhere, they go everywhere. And so it's like, you don't need to grab a client. And honestly, I've had people, other stylists, that have referred people to me. And again, thank you guys. Thank you for doing that. And I really appreciate that. That I had those people that contributed to my success. And it is never the people who you expect it to be. Because, of course, your family, your mother, your father, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, they don't count because they signed up. They got to do it. They don't count. And if they're not doing it, then you might want to be side-eyeing here, but that's another video. But generally, it's not the people who you think are going to come through for you that come through for you, or they provide you with something that is necessary. Whether it's a small step or a small push, but it contributed. And I wish that we would get to the point where we can do that, for each other, because, people don't understand how difficult, and I want to try to outline that in my channel, is how difficult it is for the small business and the necessity of the small business, because the small business is the ones that keeps Target, that keeps Walmart from raising the prices on you, because they have competitors. But when you drive by and you're just getting milk, it's like, just stop there and see if they have it. And number one, it will lift that small business revenue, so then that way they will be able to have what you need when you come in, versus just saying, I'm going to Target and I'm going to drive and walk through this 10,000 square foot store and you're just getting milk. It's like that small contribution to the small business is a load off, is helpful. And so I hope that people will keep that in mind, that, the video is about mental health and it's a contributor, because when a customer comes in, it's a load off. It's a load off of some type of worry. And I hope that, we'll keep that in mind when we're thinking about driving by. Or if you're a small business, thinking about forming that chain, forming that bridge to other businesses. Like, for example, stylists, if you have a doctor's appointment, you can't make it, your client has to go on vacation, and you're like, you just missed the appointment. You just, good luck. You can say, okay, I know Sheena. Sheena's down the street. She does this. She can do it. She can get you, and if you want to be a real, mature person, you'll call Sheena and say, hey girl, can you help me out? My client, da, da, da. I know we ain't doing it. But you know what? It comes down to the same thing that I learned from this man, Priest Tyre. I learned this from him. Because honestly, getting into this field as young as I did, I was 19, your mind is like, I'm competing. And with him, I learned that what's for you is for you. It's for you. You don't have to worry about what the other person is doing. And he did not. He didn't worry about what I was doing. And we were doing plays at the same time, competing with each other. Moments from probably weeks from each other when they were going to debut. And it was none of that. And you know what? It started with that, where I said, his flyers on the ground. Let me pick that up and put that on this card. They're going to get 2 flyers on the card. And hopefully they'll pick, or hopefully they'll just come to both of us. But it starts with that, and it's a load off, of people's mind, because, we got so many things to worry about in our lives day to day. And I hope that people will take that into consideration, that's the one thing that I learned, that's been instrumental in my continued success, is because that's one thing that doesn't bother me anymore. And it was a constant thing. And I'm certain it's a constant thing for other stylists or other business owners when you're thinking like, oh my God, they're opening right there next to us. Like the whole You've Got Mail thing where it was Fox Books, next to the shop around the corner situation. And yeah, well, that didn't turn out well, but if you've ever seen that movie, You've Got Mail, that's my favorite movie. But it's enough business if the consumers, if the people will just take this small measure to say, you know what, I'm gonna stop here and possibly shop local if I can, if they have it, and if they don't have it that day, check back again and try to uplift the small business, because you never know what you're actually contributing to. You're contributing to somebody saying, I'm not gonna give up today. I'm not gonna chuck this in because it's getting better. Things are moving. And I hope people just think about that as they go on. So, as you can see, if you've known my channel, you're looking at my channel, you see I have my small books, my ebooks that's attached. Hope you look at it. Please look at it. Please hook me up and look at it. And comment. Be nice. Because it takes a load off. It really does.
Between the Worlds is a story about time. Time doesn't ask for permission. It bends. It breaks. It repeats the moments we wish we could change. Min Jae believed his life followed rules until one day she appeared, a stranger who shouldn't exist. She came there to find her father, but maybe she was meant to find something else. 2 lives, 1 loop in time, and a love written between the seconds. Between the Seconds, Chapter 1, The Door Between Worlds. Like and subscribe. November 15th.